press briefing. This week, November 10, will be 28 years after Ken Saro Wiwa and 8 other Ogoni people were executed in an on-service gallows at the Port Harcourt prisons for committing no offense, but just to draw attention to the Ogoni environment and the loss of livelihoods. He was not asking for anything different from what other Nigerians are already enjoying in abundance, but so it is to keep his memory alive and to keep government on their feet that we are here to do this briefing. I will read the statement we have, then my colleagues here will say a thing, then you say there's something, then you ask some questions. I'm Celestine Akpobare. I'm the team leader at People's Advancement Center. Is Reverend Probe Williams, the leader of Ogoni People's Assembly. You already know your brothers, Boti, Isaac, Social Action, Abuja. So, I've done the introduction, so I will just read the background. I will not read through all. I'll just speak to the paper. In 1990, the Ogoni people took stock of their conditions and found that in spite of the stupendous oil and gas wealth in their land, which had fed the Nigerian elites and the system very fat, that they were extremely poor, had no social amenities, unemployment was running higher, and worse still, the environment was severely devastated by 3 decades of reckless oil exploitation, or what the Ogoni people love to call ecological warfare. In ecological warfare, no blood is spilled, no bone is broken, but more people die than in conventional war. Because what you inhale into your system, the poison you eat and breathe, kills faster than gun that is shot. This ecological war was being launched by Shell and the partners, especially the NNPC. In short, the Ogoni were faced with environmental degradation, political marginalization, economic strangulation, slavery, and possible extinction. They went further to adopt what we now call Ogoni Bill of Rights. The Ogoni Bill of Rights contains several things which I will just mention. We're not looking for an independent, as people claim. First, we're asking that Ogonis should have political control of Ogoni affairs by Ogoni people. By that we mean that, at every point in time, the senator that will represent Ogoni should be an Ogoni man. The House of Rep person that will represent Ogoni should be an Ogoni man. The local government chairman should be an Ogoni man. Then we're talking about adequate and direct representation as of right in all national institutions. That is, Ogonis should also be considered when you are talking about appointments into national institutions. We talked about the use and development of Ogoni languages in Ogoni territory. You know that in the universities today, we are forced to study Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa. And we are a distinct ethnic nationality. We are indigenous people. So when you go to university, why are other languages not studied? Why? And we're asking that in the curriculum, Ogoni should be there so that our children will not begin to grow up and begin to speak another language. They should be able to speak Ogoni. We ask for the right to protect the Ogoni environment because our environment was dying. We said the response the Ogoni people got from the government was to send in the military to occupy Ogoni land. They went about killing people because they thought that the Ogoni were leading a campaign that was too dangerous. Because any campaign that touches on oil, which is the heartbeat of the economy, was becoming too dangerous for them. So they wanted to teach the Ogoni people a lesson so that other people will not play that kind of play anymore. And so their response was that hard. These troops wreaked havoc in Ogoni. Atrocities of all kinds were committed, including the destruction of communities, mass arrests, repression, rape, unjust detention, genocide, kangaroo trials, and conviction of several Ogoni by a military tribunal set up by the military junta, General Sani Abacha then. The height of this criminality perpetrated by the Nigerian state was the hanging of Ken Saro Wiwa and 8 others in the morning hours of November 10, 1995. This was despite the outcry by the international community and the fact that the specified 30 days right of appeal was yet to expire. According to Reverend Nimobasi, the executive director, head of Mother Earth Foundation, 28 years and the injustice, ecocide, and sundry wounds inflicted on Ogoni continue to fester. Ken Saro Wiwa spoke against this and was martyred, along with other Ogoni leaders, by the cannibal system. Now is the time to exonerate the martyrs and commence a Niger Delta-wide environmental restoration. The people have been patient. We have been patient enough. I want to draw your attention to 1999, when Nigeria returned to full-blown democracy in 1999. We were all in this country. 2 issues were plaguing Nigeria, June 12 and the Ogoni matter. We are all in this country. You saw how June 12 issue had been handled. In fact, in 1999, every presidential candidate of all political parties were Yoruba people, including Olufaraye. In fact, they had to go to prison to go and bring one who eventually became the president, just to settle that matter. You saw how President Buhari handled the issues of Abiola, how Abiola has been given the highest honor in the land, how Abiola has been recognized as a president, how a day has been set aside as a democracy day just to immortalize him. The Ogoni area, nothing has been done. Even one item that is on the Ogoni Bill of Rights, no one has been acceded to by the government of Nigeria. And we are talking about a people whose oil and gas had fed the Nigerian system very fat before the struggle commenced in 1993. One issue I want us to also look at is the issue of a memorial bus. This memorial bus is a sculpture, it's an artwork that human rights groups and persons in United Kingdom put together to immortalize Ken Saro Wiwa, to keep in memory. In 2015, that was 20th anniversary of the murder of Ken, we requested, Ogonis already forum requested that this bus be brought to Nigeria so we can use it to celebrate the anniversary. And they graciously accepted and brought it. When it arrived in Lagos port, it was seized by the Nigerian customs. This is an artwork, a bus, caricature of a bus that does not have tire, does not have engine, just an artwork that has no harm. And you know what? The head of the Nigerian custom at that time, Ahmed Ali, was the only military officer that was on the tribunal that sentenced Ken to death in 1995. So you didn't imagine how you will be alive to see somebody he killed in 1995, being celebrated, something coming, and they just seize it. We did a petition to the National Assembly. The National Assembly, in a plenary on Tuesday 19, 2016, said that the Nigerian Customs should release the bus unconditionally to the Ogoni people. When Ahmed Ali refused to honor the National Assembly, we proceeded to the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, Lagos, in 2017, precisely 28 April 2017. On 20th April this year, the court ruled that the bus be released unconditionally to the Ogoni people. As I speak, that artwork is still in detention by the customs of Nigeria. This is the same custom that is giving out this country to people in the name of business. They give them, they call it waiver or whatever they call it. All these big men, you are hearing their names. They are not paying any duties on anything that they bring to this country. The same custom, giving it to them. But a Ken Saro Wiwa, a man that has worked so hard for Nigeria, something sent in just to immortalize him was confiscated, just like that. In fact, box of flyers, harmless paper, flyers that came through DHL, the DSS seized those parcels. Till today, we have not seen it. And I don't know how a government can be so wicked to one of their own. What faith do they think that the Ogoni people should have in this country? Since the creation of Rivers State on 27 May 1967 till today, no Ogoni man has been governor of Rivers State. No Ogoni has been deputy. No Ogoni has been speaker. No Ogoni has been chief judge in a state where Ogoni is the majority. Ogoni is the most educated in that state. So we think that government should, as a matter of deliberate policy, begin to see how to address the Ogoni issues. The government of Nigeria deliberately handled the June 12 issues. They should see what they can do. Government to sit down to think of what they can do. Fortunately for us, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was part of the Ogoni struggle. In fact, if you look at his head, the back of his head, there's a bomb on the back of that was an injury he got when he was leading the struggle for Ogoni people. Let him deny that the wound on the back of his head came from the Ogoni. So he was there at the front. Now he has taken over. He should begin to see what he will do to readdress our problem. Prayers, which are the last aspect of this address. We want President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to review the so-called sentence that the military tribunal passed against Ken Saro Wiwa and others in October 1995, because you know, all of us we know that Ken did not commit the offense for which they were. We want a review of that judgment and exonerate Ken Saro Wiwa from that murder attack. Secondly, we want the military officers that rampaged, that took over Ogoni, the military officers that led the slaughter of Ogoni people, the military officers that led that genocide, like Paul Kuntumo, like Dauda Musa Komo, like Obi Umai, they are still walking freely on the streets of Nigeria. Those who kill people in Liberia and in Sierra Leone, they are in prison somewhere. They cannot be walking freely on the streets of Nigeria. They should be arrested and prosecuted for committing genocide against innocent civilians in Ogoni land. We are also asking that adequate compensation be paid to the families of over 2,000 people that were murdered in cold blood by these soldiers. We are also saying that the President Tinubu should look at the Ogoni Bill of Rights and the legitimate demands that the Ogoni people made in that bill, especially the issues of political marginalization. We are also saying that the President should consider full implementation of UNEP report on Ogoni. It will surprise everybody that the little money that have been committed into kickstarting that cleanup, that government of Nigeria is yet to commit one kobo to it. And of course, the $1 billion that UNEP recommended was a take-off grant. They said that cleanup will take 30 years. So don't think that $1 billion will clean up the mess generated for 30 years. So we want the government to begin to think about putting money into that cleanup. And again, there is an aspect of the recommendation by UNEP that Shell should decommission. That Shell should remove all their pipeline equipment from Ogoni. That has to be done. Because since they stopped oil exploration in Ogoni, there have been leakages. In fact, a community called Bodo, almost weekly, there are leakages from on service wellheads and aged pipeline. They need to remove all those things from Ogoni. And again, you know, Ogoni is not an island that if you clean Ogoni, and if you don't clean other parts of the delta, the place will not be clean. You cannot turn on your tap, and you mop your floor. That would be foolishness. So government should stop looking for any new oil in the Niger Delta area. Because what government should be thinking about now is to clean up the mess that have been generated, especially now that the oil companies are talking about running away, divestment. They should think about cleaning up that mess. Niger Delta has done so much for Nigeria. It is time that Nigeria to take care of Niger Delta. When parents train their children, when their children grow, they come back to take care of their parents. Niger Delta will not be feeding Nigeria until the end of this world. They should stop looking for new oil wells while cleanup is going on, because that will amount to turning on the tap and mopping the floor, which is not very good. And we are also asking that the boss, the Ken Saro Wiwa boss, which the National Assembly said should be released, and which the Court of Competent Jurisdiction ruled on 20th of April 2023 that should be released to the Ogoni people with immediate effect. We want the Mr. President to intervene in this and ask the custom to obey the court of law in this country. And we have also talked about that this remediation need to get to other parts of the Niger Delta. In the wisdom of the government, UNEP recommended Ogoni Environment Restoration Authority, but government said no, it should be HIPREP, so that when they want to clean up Bayelsa, they won't create another authority. When they want to clean Delta, they won't create another authority. So they created what they call HIPREP, Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project. We are asking that money should be released to HIPREP, so that HIPREP can now commence a study, an assessment of other polluted sites in the Niger Delta. If they did not conduct assessment in Ogoni, cleanup will not be going on there now. We should not wait until the 30 years is gone with Ogoni before they start assessment of other territories. Government should immediately release money to HIPREP so that they can commence this environmental audit of other side, so that cleanup can also go on that side. Because until that is done, Ogoni will remain unclean. Until that is done, the livelihoods of the people will be lost forever. Don't forget that we live in a system where there is almost an absence of government. There is no family that does not have a generator. There is no family that does not pay health medical bills of their family members or send their children to school. We don't have free education. Even people that benefited from scholarship in this country have destroyed the educational system. It is what the Ogoni man, the Niger Delta people, get from their farms and fishing business that they use in taking care of their children. So when oil business that is feeding this country fat have destroyed their means of livelihood and businesses, what do? There are a large number of hungry people, very poor people that littered everywhere. The only thing that is happening in our territory this season, every week, is burial. When somebody died at the age of 35, they said, thanking God for a life well spent. Strange things are happening in the area because of what we inhale, the hydrocarbon in the air, very thick. In fact, UNEP report said that there is a cancer-causing carcinogen called benzene in the water taken in Ogoni, and that every water we take is coated 8 cm of crude oil. That is a death sentence on a people. So you see somebody in the morning, in the afternoon, the person has died. Government need to wake up to its responsibilities, look at Ogoni holistically, and see what they can do to address these plights. Thank you very much for coming.
Every day we hear that this present government is scheming to come back to take oil in the Ogoni land. Then the question we continue to ask is, for what purpose did our heroes die? The very best of Ogoni lost their lives and they are scheming to come back to take our oil. One thing I want to put on record is, they attempted it when Ken Saro Wiwa and others came up to say there is genocide in the lands, there is ecological war, and what government said then was, this is a local problem. And then there is a way out of every problem. When you see somebody out there, you feel he is disadvantaged, he doesn't know what to do, he is helpless, and because he's helpless, there is nobody you can tread on him. Now what they called local problem that year has become an international problem on the global stage. So I want to warn the federal government not to attempt to use any company through any backyard or to cause divide and rule in Ogoni land to come and take oil, because what they have caused they've not been able to settle it. It is a very strict warning that they shouldn't dare it. In fact, this generation is becoming fiercer than the generation they met, because we see resultant effect of everything we suffered as a result of devastation in Ogoni land. Number two, what I want to place on record here is when somebody, our hero Ken Saro Wiwa, this is the 28th anniversary of the death, 28th, and instead of people to think of exonerating the man, they knew it was what they call judicial murder. All of them, they are aware. In fact, President Buhari, before he left the seat, told the leaders, elites of Ogoni, that he was going to look into the pleas that were made before him, before he left office. Well, it is the weakness on the side of our representative. That's why every day we cry, we shout and say, if you want to bring people into government, let not one person from one ethnic group choose who will rule the people, so that we can have good representation that can follow up matters arising. That has not been looked into. It was just left thrown, swept under the carpet. So this exoneration of Ken Saro Wiwa, the resource control that was mentioned in Ogoni Bill of Rights, OBR, talking about, as my big brother was saying here, should be looked into before they start scheming to come out and take our oil. When they come, we will dance their guns to silence. When they come, we will resist them vehemently, because the people are no longer happy, the people are hungry, the people are dying. Thank you very much.
For the Ogoni people, 28 years after the murder of Ken Saro Wiwa and 8 others, the same issue that they complained about, the same problem, environmental degradation, the disaster that has brought upon their people, the loss of economic livelihood that the people of the region suffer, still permeates still today. And the federal government had turned a blind eye to the plight of the people of Ogoni. So we are saying, for justice to be served, there is need for the federal government to look into the demands of the Ogoni people. Are they asking too much? Of course, no, they are not asking too much. We are saying that we want the restoration of the land. We want the land to be returned back to its normal stage, to support agriculture and other economic activities that the people of the land depend on for their survival. We are saying that the government should give them political autonomy. They should have a say in their own affairs. They should be given the opportunity, the privilege to take the decisions that will help their people. We are saying that enough of exploration, oil exploration in the land, until remediation is done, an adequate mechanism or framework is set in place to ensure that the people of Ogoni benefit from whatever activity that is going on in the land. These are some of our demands, and we are using this opportunity to call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do the needful. If his predecessors have failed to do what they were supposed to do, then he should not take anything for granted. He was part of the struggle, so he should, in the spirit of what made him to be part of the struggle, continue to see how we can ameliorate the situation of the Ogoni people. Yeah. So on this note, we beg President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to please heed to our cause and attend to our demands as a people, as a nation, so that progressively we can collectively achieve the best for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you.